Just a moment ago, two women were mistaken for cross-dressing gangsters and taken to the police station. In order to prove that they were not men, a police officer approached and forcibly tore off their clothes.
Those are nice.
That's enough, hey!
It was obviously fake, but a thorough examination was still required. Meanwhile, the real cross-dressing gangster was busy shopping for clothes. Despite having a waist size of 52, they insisted on squeezing into size 25 pants. Hearing the commotion, their best friend came over to help. With a swift kick and a strong tug, the pants were finally on. However, walking was a bit uncomfortable. The salesperson suggested relaxing a bit and not being too constricted. Finally, they made it back to the hotel, only to encounter Gina, who came to check on them. Marcus hurriedly had his friend, who hadn't removed their makeup yet, hide in the corner, but he forgot that he still had the underwear on himself.
Is that a bra?
Marcus quickly explained, claiming that it was the latest model of bulletproof vest and that it provided great safety when worn. Karen insisted on checking under the bed, and in the meantime, Kevin took the opportunity to run out. Unfortunately, he was intercepted by Gina's friend. Unable to explain the situation, Marcus had no choice but to tell the truth.
You're sick!
He's a man!
Marcus and Kevin were originally police officers. Their mission was to protect a pair of sisters. Based on reliable information, someone was planning a kidnapping. To ensure safety, the two decided to impersonate the sisters and attend various social events on their behalf. They hired a group of professional makeup artists for this purpose. First, they posed and took unfiltered photos. Then, the images were scanned into a computer and used to create molds. Silicone was poured into the molds and applied to their faces, creating epic-level disguises. With their perfect skin and well-proportioned bodies, the two artificial beauties were born. They then boarded an 80-meter-long Lincoln and headed to a ball. Because they are good-looking, they immediately attracted a group of girls when they arrived. Seeing the beautifully made cakes, Marcus went up and ate a plateful, but it gave him diarrhea, and he urgently rushed to the restroom. The noise was even more lively than firecrackers during the Chinese New Year, almost scaring away the beautiful ladies outside. With his charming figure, Marcus instantly caught Latrell's attention. Latrell approached and started a conversation, boasting about his impressive abilities and how any woman who had a deep conversation with him would need a wheelchair afterwards.
I had a great time last night.
Tell me.
Okay, call me later.
As I was saying.
Yeah.
Seeing that Latrell wouldn't give up, Marcus pulled out a can of pepper spray and sprayed it at him. Surprisingly, Latrell wasn't angry at all. Instead, he became even more impressed with Marcus. That evening, Marcus and Kevin attended another charity event. To their surprise, the host called Marcus up on stage, saying they would auction off a dinner companion for him. Latrell got instantly excited upon hearing this, and without hesitation, he threw out $50,000 to win the chance to have Marcus as his companion. However, when they sat down at the table, Latrell was taken aback. This lady was too bold, as she noticed that he had split his toenail and she actually bit it off with her mouth. Then, she forcefully spat it into Latrell's wine glass, but Latrell didn't seem to mind at all. He just picked up an oyster and continued eating, displaying impressive technique and precision. Seeing this, Marcus realized he had met his match, so he had to resort to his ultimate move. He grabbed a rack of lamb from the table and started gnawing on it. With rough and crude movements, in no time, he devoured an entire roasted lamb. He quickly loosened his pants to relieve the discomfort, revealing a palm-wide patch of chest hair. Latrell was left dumbfounded, thinking, "Isn't this the type I like?" Just as Latrell approached again, Marcus let out a fart at that moment. The smell was truly eye-watering, almost driving the dogs away. He thought Latrell would back down, but Latrell was even more ruthless. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, a group of people approached the bar to pour drinks. Latrell prepared a pill, put it in a drink, and handed it to Marcus. Just as the glass was still bubbling, Marcus shouted, "Look, there's a plane!" Seizing the opportunity, he switched the glasses. Latrell, who had consumed the drugged drink, immediately became dazed, dancing around the dance floor with a glow stick, shirtless. The next day, when he woke up, he found a blonde beauty lying next to him. Meanwhile, Kevin and Kevin were going to attend a modeling selection ball. Unaware that danger was getting closer to them, nervously making their way around, they accidentally bumped into a model behind them. They hurried to help but ended up spilling pearls used for decoration all over the floor. It was a case of helping one up and another falling down. Rescuing none of them in the end. Suddenly, the lights at the venue went out, and a dragon dance team burst in, spinning around the stage. When they left, Marcus had disappeared without a trace. Kevin realized something was wrong and swiftly tackled the big dragon to the ground. As the plan failed, the robber pulled out a gun, ready to take action. Kevin also didn't tolerate his, and within a few moves, he had the opponent pinned down. On the other side, Marcus faced off against the golden-haired man. He took a right hook, and then endured a hit from a small stool. The two of them chased after each other, catching up to the leader of the robbers. To their surprise, the man turned out to be Warren, the organizer of the party, who planned to make a big profit due to his company's bankruptcy. Seeing their plan exposed, Warren became desperate and prepared to take action. Fortunately, Latrell arrived just in time and tackled him, blocking a bullet. Reacting quickly, Kevin raised his hand and fired a shot, successfully subduing Warren. Turning to Latrell, although injured, he acted as if nothing had happened, declaring his love to Marcus once again. Unable to handle the situation, Marcus grabbed Latrell's chin and lifted it,
I'm not a woman.
bringing an end to Latrell's short-lived love story. So, it goes to show that when it comes to dating, one must keep their eyes open. Deception may not only come from good looks, but also from omnipresent silicone.